See, I was in my prime when I asked Brett. Brett wasn't. He
Yeah.
was past his prime. Now, me being in Brett's situation, and if I had to wrestle Brett and I had the opportunity, I would say no too, because I know I can't put on the Kurt Angle performance that everybody would expect. So would I wrestle again? Probably not. No.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interview.
Folks, this is an episode where Rewind, Recap, Relive meets intensity, integrity, and intelligence. This man is a Hall of Famer, Grand Slam and Triple Crown champion in multiple companies, Olympic gold medalist. I heard it was with a broken neck. Please welcome Kurt Angle.
How you doing, man? Great to be on.
Great. Awesome having you. Thank you so much. I mean, I've been seeing you on your own channel, The Kurt Angle Show, right here on YouTube, really doing some interviews of your own. How does it feel being on the other side of the mic?
It's a little different, interviewing people. I've had some really good guests, and it's a lot of fun doing it. But I'm not that great at it, so I have to keep some notes and stuff. So I'm learning on the fly. Yeah.
No, same. I mean, I relate. Yeah, got the notes right here. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you're in the moment and you're asking those questions. But I've seen some. I loved your interview with Brian Gewirtz. That was great. It was really great stuff.
Yeah, Brian's a talented writer, one of the best writers I've ever experienced. Actually, Dwayne Johnson hired him to be a part of his production company as a writer. So he left the WWE to join Dwayne Johnson's team.
Oh, that's very cool. I mean, that is such talent. No, for sure. And I know he did a lot of great storylines just over the years. And of course, not the only thing that's been keeping you busy, physically fit, nutrition, and your protein snack bites that seem to be doing amazing. I saw on your website you're actually moving into a larger facility. Is that true?
Yeah. We moved the product to another facility. We have a different manufacturer now, but everything's up to par, and we're really excited about the product. We've been selling pretty well, but we could sell more, and we finally got an investor.
Oh, nice!
We were getting a lot of purchase orders from bigger like Costco, Walmart, and we couldn't fill them because we didn't have the money. But now we have the right investor to do that.
Oh, that's fantastic! Have you ever considered Shark Tank? I know DDP went on there for DDP yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yes and no. I mean, I know Mark Cuban. He went to my high school.
Oh, nice. Yeah, right.
But no, probably not, because it probably wouldn't be the right fit, and for many reasons.
For many reasons. That's cool. You know him, though. No, a big fan of that show myself. Well, to dive into it, such an illustrious career, it's hard to really narrow down the specifics to go after, but I've got a few here. I'll throw an easy one at you first, though. A big part of the Kurt Angle aura, I feel, has always been your theme song, but there's two that resonate with fans. There's the WWE one, of course, and then the TNA one. And I'd love to hear from you which one got you hyped up the most before heading out there.
You know what? The WWE one had a kind of a good ring to it. It was more patriotic, more Olympic-ish. I did enjoy that. I didn't make that up. That was the Patriots music before I even started.
Right.
WWE had it for the Patriot. But I got to make my own music in TNA. And I decided to use song from Vision Quest, which was an amateur wrestling movie. And obviously I'm an amateur wrestler, big fan of the movie Vision Quest. I think Matthew Brodeen starred in it. And the song was called Lunatic Fringe. And so I had that song play while I had John Cena's cousin, Trademark, do the rapping for it. So I was able to bring those two together and make it work.
It's such an iconic song, the TNA one. It's so catchy, too. That's cool. I did not know John Cena's cousin did that. Wow.
Yeah, trademark. Mm-hmm.
Very cool connection there. Do you remember when, with the WWE one, the first night you heard the "You Suck" chants that went along with it? Do you remember what your reaction was, or what?
Well, they started with, they were chanting Angle, to the song. And then Edge one night said, they shouldn't chant Angle. They should chant "You Suck." And that's when it caught on. So I was doing a program with Edge, and he got me back by doing that. And the fans, and they never forgot it, for the rest of my career. It was almost like a curse, but even as a babyface, they would say it. So in a way, it was a term of endearment, but to me, "You suck" sounds like you suck.
No, I mean, absolutely. And I thought it was so cool. Your final match, you're in WWE, your final match at that WrestleMania, they sang you out with it, right? I was actually there at that one. I thought it was so cool that you ended it with that after everything.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of something today, you just posted a picture on Instagram, and I saw it was it looks like it's on a plane with you and a couple of greats. It's APA, Stone Cold included, right? I think maybe Matt Hardy down there or somebody, but it's a
Matt Hardy, Edge, yeah, Stone
Edge,
Cold,
right?
The APA. Yeah, we were all having a blast, and some strange reason I got them all to drink milk. It was crazy because it was an overseas tour, and usually they drink a lot of beer on the planes. So they that night they decided to drink milk with your Olympic hero.
That's so funny. That must have been really cool. And speaking, of the crowd reaction, the "You Suck," a guy you're no stranger to evokes a crazy reaction from the crowd. We just saw him return as John Cena. And there's a lot of rumors that this match that he came back to announce at WrestleMania is one of his last, if not his last one, that he might be winding it down. Do you take any sense of pride or anything from really helping him start it out, really being that first person that he got in the ring with?
Sure. You know what? I was attached to John for about 8 months at the beginning of his career. So it wasn't just the first match that he had on TV with me. We continued on. We would travel and go to house shows, and I would teach him, and I would get him better and more experienced. And they had me attached to him for a while. And he kept improving, though. He kept meeting my expectations and exceeding them. And he got better and better. And when he really broke through is when he changed from prototype character, where he was wearing matching in-ring gear and boots, the same color. He switched to the rapper, and that's when things really started to ignite for him. And I was happy for him. John was a great talent. I enjoyed working with him. I enjoyed helping him out. He was not just great on the microphone, but he was really strong in the ring too.
No, absolutely, he was, and flipping that switch. I mean, that went miles for him. And and of course, the rap battle, iconic. You in there, getting in there, and trying your fair with the rap. So you helped Cena along in the beginning. Did Cena lend you any advice when it came to rapping before that segment?
No. The goofier, the better. I didn't want to sound like a rapper. I wanted to sound like somebody that was trying to rap. So I didn't want any advice from John to know how do you do this and how do you make it work. I just did it my own way because that's what they wanted. They wanted a goofy Kurt Angle trying to rap just like John Cena. And the episode that segment was one of the most popular segments that I've had in my career, and something that I'm semi proud of. I'm not that proud because I wasn't that great at rapping, but it's up there with the sexy Kurt.
No, it's definitely up there. Did you actually come up with the rap, or was that a writer type?
No, that was Brian Gewartz.
Brian wrote all
that stuff for me. Brian was incredible. He had incredible chemistry with me, with The Rock, Chris Jericho, Edge and Christian, Hurricane Helms. He wrote a lot for some of the guys that he was in tune with. He didn't write for everybody because there were a bunch of different writers, and I think he just connected with us the most. And he was able to relate to our characters. Yeah. So when he would write, he wrote everything for The Rock too. I mean, he really did an incredible job, and he could always relate everything to the character that he was writing for.
That's amazing. Yeah. And it's, of course, it's a talent, right? To pick who you're going to be able to write for it. And sticking on the topic, too, so John Cena might be winding out. Another guy that rumors just came out that he might be saying his goodbyes was Brock Lesnar. And I did see you just did an episode, too, on the Kurt Angle show, on a whole episode on Brock Lesnar. Knowing Brock as you do, are you surprised that he might be thinking about walking away?
No, I think Brock has done as much as he could in this career. UFC champion, NCAA champion, WWE champion, IWGP champion. I think he's done everything he's wanted to do. I think he's made more than enough money. And this guy, what he likes to do is spend time with his family and go hunting and fishing. So that's where I'd imagine
Simple.
Brock's going to be the rest of his life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to make him happy. And I think he deserves it. I think he worked hard enough and made enough money that he's going to be okay the rest of his life.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, so talented and everything. Do you think maybe as someone else who had a close relationship with Vince, now things kind of different in the WWE? Do you think that might have something to do with it for some of the older guys who had a close relationship with Vince? Maybe it feels a little different with Triple H now at the helm.
You know what? Triple H is a great leader. He's a great boss. I don't have a problem with him. I don't think anybody has a problem with him. You know, Vince was different. Yeah, Vince was unique. He was one of a kind. Nobody else like him. Cared very much about his talent. So does Triple H, though. I mean, I am not going to knock Triple H because if anybody was going to replace Vince, it was going to be Triple H and Stephanie. And, you know, that's basically what they did. And so I don't think that Triple H is the reason why that Brock's retiring. I don't believe that for a second. I just believe that Brock's had enough. He's ready to quit. He's ready to retire.
Ready to wind it down. Definitely. Yeah. And one more question about that. As someone who worked with Brock during his first run, what would you say the biggest difference that you could see between the Brock that you were with earlier on and the Brock that we saw return in 2012 and go on to become the Beast incarnate and everything?
Oh, Brock, he was extremely talented back in 2003, 2002. He was really young, though. He was 22, 23 years old. He's grown dramatically, and he's matured. You know, back then he was still great in the ring, but he got a lot better. And by 2012, he came into his own, and I would consider him one of the best wrestlers in the world. You know, it doesn't matter. Is he limited on his repertoire? He does a lot of suplexes. That's about it. But what he does extremely well. And he's the best athlete I've ever seen over 300 pounds. The kid can do anything. I mean, you know, when he tried out for the NFL, he ran a 4.640 at 300 pounds. That's incredible.
Wow.
You know,
300.
Yeah. He's extremely athletic. I don't see I've never seen anyone like him, not at his size.
No, I think I heard Big Show tell a story of he was doing something with Brock, and Big Show was at the top of the ramp, you know, taunting him. Before he knew it, Brock was in his face from the ring in his face in a couple seconds. You know, yeah. You
know what? I saw Brock pick Big Show up and slam him when they were shoot wrestling, and Big Show was 500 pounds. Big Show was 500 pounds at this particular time, and for Brock to pick him up with Big Show dead-assing him. That actually made me nervous because that's the time when I actually asked Brock to wrestle me. He was wrestling Big Show in the ring, and Big Show was facing me, and Brock's back was to me. They were in the ring. I told Big Show, get out. And he got out of the ring, and I walked up to Brock and tapped him on the shoulder. I said, let's go. And we wrestled, and it was an extremely close match. Did I edge him? Yeah, I beat him. You know, I took him down a couple of times. He didn't take me down at all, but seeing him pick up Big Show and slam him, I was utterly impressed because Big Show didn't let him do it. He did it on his own. It was incredible.
Sure, he did it. Wow, that is intimidating. Yeah, I mean that's crazy strength. Well, we touched on it earlier. Your final match in WWE at WrestleMania 35, but I feel like everyone knows that it could have been different. It was a nice moment, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on Ric Flair's last match, and if you'd ever consider it headlining an event like that. I know you have back surgery coming up, but if you'd ever,
no, I don't think so. The thing is with me, and I'm not going to speak for Rick or anybody else, but for me, I knew I lost my touch when I came back to WWE. What happened was, I was doing a lot of independent shows before I signed with WWE in 2017, when I took a year off in between TNA and WWE, and I kept my body in ring shape, and I was wrestling extremely well. When I got to the WWE, they decided they wanted to induct me in the Hall of Fame first and not have me wrestle first. And not only that, but they pushed my wrestling back even more. After I got inducted to the Hall of Fame, they asked me to be GM of Raw. So I was GM of Raw for 8 months. Then after that, I started wrestling. But while I was GM, I was inactive. I wasn't in the ring wrestling. I wasn't doing anything. And my body started to become arthritic. I started feeling older. When you get old in your 50s, you have to keep your body active. I didn't do that. So when I came back to wrestle, I started getting injured. You know, my right leg, my thigh, I tore a muscle in my thigh. I injured my knee again. It was just really hard to get myself back in conditioning to be able to wrestle at that level. And if I'm going to wrestle any time in my life, I want to be at the best that I was in my prime of my career. I'll give you an example. I asked Bret Hart to wrestle me in 2002 at WrestleMania. He said no right away. I was like, Bret, I'll do all the bumping. All you have to do is beat the crap out of me. He's like, no, Kurt, I don't want to do it. And I understand now, because I wouldn't do it either. If I wasn't able to perform against Bret Hart at my best, I'm not going to do it. See, I was in my prime when I asked Bret. Bret wasn't. He was past his prime. Now, me being in Bret's situation, and if I had to wrestle Bret and I had the opportunity, I would say no too, because I know I can't put on the Kurt Angle performance that everybody would expect. So would I wrestle again? Probably not. No.
Probably not, right? No, it absolutely makes sense. And it's funny, after that, didn't Bret, was there a match? I mean, it wasn't Bret Hart, but what was the match he had with Vince? Did that come after? Yeah,
he had a street fight with Vince, which I think Vince really utterly talked him into it. But keep in mind, it's Vince McMahon. Right. So nobody had high expectations for a wrestling match. They knew this was going to be a brawl. It was going to be a gimmick match, you know. So Bret knew he could do that. And, you know, if Kurt Angle and Bret Hart go in there and do a gimmick match, wouldn't make any sense. You know, they would look like they would want to see a great technical match between Bret Hart and Kurt Angle, not a gimmick match like you saw with Vince.
Right. Exactly. No, well said. And turning back the clock now a little bit for you was when you beat Stone Cold Steve Austin in your hometown not long after 9/11 for the World Championship. I'd love to hear what that meant to you.
Well, you know what? That was my idea.
Oh, really?
I went to Vince. I was only a year and a half in the business, and I went to Vince and I said, Vince, I'm feeling like I should win this title right now because 9/11 just occurred. I'm the Olympic hero. You know, the United States, they need a boost. And, you know, me winning the title for them would be a great idea. He said, well, you need to ask Stone Cold. So I was like, oh, shit. I got to go call Stone Cold now. So I called Steve, and he said, hey, let's do it. And he agreed right away. So we decided to do it in Pittsburgh, in my hometown. And I wasn't going to hold the title for very long. I only held it for a week before Steve beat me back for it. But it was a cool moment because it had something to do with 9/11. It had something to do with the USA. And it was in my hometown of Pittsburgh, which made it even more special.
That's such a cool moment. Yeah, I can't believe that was your idea. Wow. And that Steve was so receptive to it right away. I guess he got it, right?
The business too, yeah. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, holy shit. I should ask him every week, hey, can I be
I know. Another idea, Austin. Yeah. Did you catch his last match at WrestleMania last year?
Yes. I was really happy that Steve was able to come back and do what he did. I understand that he was limited, but he worked really hard to get there, and he put on an incredible performance. The only thing I could say is God bless Vince McMahon. If you see the stunner that he took from Austin, oh my gosh. He was so mad. He was so mad after that. You could see him lipping, son of a bitch. Like he was pissed. But Vince, you know, Vince is Vince, man. His timing isn't usually that perfect. And he didn't take the stunner very well, but it was actually pretty comical.
It was very comical. Yeah, and that crowd too. I managed to get to that WrestleMania. First time I was ever in Texas, and that I've never been in a crowd so passionate before. I think as soon as Austin's music hit, everyone was standing for the rest of the night.
He was so over. You're absolutely right. And that's one of the main reasons everybody came to see was to see Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Stone Cold WrestleMania. That was such a great highlight for WrestleMania. You know, another great moment in sports entertainment history.
Hands down, yes. And so, as I said, hard to narrow it down. One person in particular I'd like to ask you about. He's my favorite. One of my favorites is Jeff Hardy. And you've done some great work with him throughout the years. Any fun Jeff memories to share?
Jeff was great. He was so much fun to work with because he did all the work for you. He flew around. All you had to do is catch him. But Jeff, he was a daredevil. He even when his back was bad, I mean, it was really bad. He wouldn't stop doing his acrobatics. And it was like, Jeff, you don't have to do it anymore. These fans, you're over with them. All you have to do is go in there and hit your finish, and they'll go crazy. You don't have to dive off the top rope and do all your spinning moves. And he didn't want to listen. And he just kept doing it and messing his back up more and more. And I don't know how he's feeling now, but back then when I was wrestling him in TNA, he was in really bad shape. And I know he didn't have back surgery, so I'm not sure how his back even got better or if it did. But he was in really bad shape when I wrestled him in TNA. I'm just happy that he's still able to wrestle right now. But he also has to think about his future, life after wrestling. If he's going to be able to walk normal and what he's going to be able to do or not do. And that's going to be important to him. And he's going to have to realize that pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his style, it's truly revolutionary, but still, risky. And it's cool what you said. Think about your future. I think it's awesome what you're doing to build your brand again, physically fit nutrition. Very nice that you're creating that future there. And speaking about current WWE now, current product, I heard you speak on the Kurt Angle show again about the gift that Cody Rhodes gave you. I think it was custom-made boots. He gave your son, maybe, Cody. He gifted him.
Yeah. What he did is he put Cody on one boot and Angle on the other because there was a match between Cody Rhodes and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
So after he got done wrestling, he said, hey, I know your son's named Cody. Why don't you give him these boots? It was really cool. He offered me the boots, and that was really incredibly, a nice gesture. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very nice gesture. I'd love to hear how it was getting into the ring with Cody Rhodes back then.
Oh, Cody was great. You know what? He was always good. He was young when he started out, but he was every bit as good back then as he is now. The company just didn't utilize him properly. And after he went to AEW and got some more years in and made himself even more popular, WWE brought him back, and now they're doing the right thing with him. Cody Rhodes is every bit as good as his dad and his brother. He might even be a little bit better.
I love to hear that. I'm super over on Cody Rhodes myself as a fan. Like I can't wait for that WrestleMania match. And you kind of answered just now, but do you think Cody Rhodes is ready to dethrone Roman if that were to happen at Mania?
Yes. I have no doubt in my mind that's going to happen at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, it's been over 2 years, and Cody Rhodes is really hot right now. They needed somebody to kind of ignite the company, and Cody Rhodes is doing that right now as we speak. And him beating Roman Reigns will be a big deal for the WWE. Absolutely. And the WWE universe. Yeah, it's gonna be huge. And going to his opponent now, having fought aside him as a member of the Shield, Roman Reigns yourself. I'd love to hear what you think about what's going on with the Bloodline, all the work they've been doing over this past 2 years. It's been 2 years, but it feels to me as a fan like it's flying by. It's crazy. You know what? They've done an incredible job with it. And I will tell you this, it is one of the most over factions in history. I put them up with the NWO, wow. DX, the Bloodline. They've done huge things right now. They're all these guys are Samoan, which is incredible. And then you have Sami Zayn. but what they have done with the Bloodline and making it all about their heritage, that's doing amazing things for their heritage, and they got so over with the help of Paul Heyman. They really have become one of the best factions of all time.
Right. Absolutely. And having been in the ring with Roman as well yourself, similar to Cody, is he that bit as good as we see on TV?
Listen, Roman, when he started out, he was a little green. And the reason why the fans didn't accept him is because Vince kept pushing him when he wasn't ready. But Roman Reigns stepped up to the challenge. He started getting better and better, and he started improving, and he earned his right to where he is today. He's the best wrestler in the business right now. And he deserves to be champion, the longest reigning champion. He's not the longest reigning champion. Bruno Sammartino is, yes, but of current in the current day, he's the longest reigning champion. Over 2 years, nobody's done that in a long, long time. So, but he deserves this. Roman Reigns has proved himself.
Right, and we'll see what happens right at WrestleMania. But awesome opinions, Kurt. It's been so nice getting to speak with you. Really, I mean, a pleasure. And as I mentioned earlier, getting back surgery coming up. I've seen that in some news. I hope it all goes well. What's your recovery on something like that? How do you feel heading into that?
Well, all I'm having done is getting my arthritis and my back scraped out. So it's not a real serious operation. I'll probably be out about 3 weeks, and that's about it. So. I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot of excruciating pain back, and I just had my knees replaced last year. So next is my neck.
Next is the famous.
It never ends with Kurt Angle. So, you got to knock one down at a time.
Absolutely. Really, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. All right, man. I appreciate it.
Rewind, recap, relive for over 50 episodes. The revolutionary force in wrestling interviews.